this video that's been going around of the Oakland A's, and they're coming off the field. It looks like at the end of an inning, maybe at the end of a game, and the one of the coaches, I don't know if he's a pitching coach or bench coach, one of these bench coach, is like trying to do some new version. This is what I've read. Some new version of like a high five, because nobody can touch each other anymore. You know, nobody can give a high five. So yeah, here, Alex, virtual high five, my man. Browner, let me get a little knuckle, my dog. No knuckle from the dog, huh? No knuckle? No knuckle.
Finish, because I want to get to this.
Okay, so the guy.
Oh, someone's mad.
I know. So the guy has this gesture that if you're even remotely aware of what's going on planet Earth, you would know that that is a very racist looking gesture. If you're Jewish, you think of Hitler. If you're black, you probably think of the KKK, would be my guess. And you're looking at these, you see Mark Kotze, who's a San Diego guy. He's standing right in front of him. You can't tell because he's got these glasses on, but when he turns around, you see his name, number 7, Mark Kotze. So Kotze, if you can just keep playing the video, Alex, I want to describe it to people who are listening. Kotze has his arm up, and then when you touch his elbow, he kind of like chops at you almost. The other guy, Christensen, he has his arm raised, not with a fist bump out, but with like this Heil Hitler look. And then somebody tries to correct him.
Hendricks.
And then he turns around and he does it again like, I'm a goofball. What kind of moron am I?
My bad.
Yeah, might be. So I'm watching this and I don't know any of the story. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what his background is. I know nothing of the guy, right? But I just see the gesture and I'm like, really, dude? Like, wow, man. Like, don't you think that if the whole team were doing that, it'd be like a huge problem? So that's why they're not doing it. They had some, and I don't know their story, dude. So I'm not trying to defend them, but you know, they had some gesture they were planning on doing, and he clearly couldn't get it.
He mucked it up.
Or maybe he's a raging racist. Maybe he's a Klansman. Maybe he's a neo-Nazi. I have no freaking clue. I would like to give the guy the benefit of the doubt that he really just didn't get it and was not yet woke to know what that gesture meant. I'd like to give the guy the benefit of the doubt and just think you're just a moron, you're stupid, and for that, that's your penalty. You're just dumb. You know, but people like right away on Twitter are like, fire this man, get rid of him, fire him, you know? And I'm not sure if he's going to get fired or if he should get fired. I just saw it and went, really? Wow. Like, you don't know any better? Like, you didn't think to yourself, this is not the gesture we were planning on doing. This doesn't look right. Or maybe he thought, hey, we're the Oakland A's. Nobody televises any of our games. Nobody sees anything that we do. I'm not sure exactly. Browner, what's burning you up about this?
Look, man, I'm going to keep this very unprofane rant.
Uh-oh.
I hate racism.
Mm-hmm.
I hate racism of any kind. It's a massive sign of ignorance. If this guy would have done this and been corrected by the guy who corrected him, that was a mistake. But if you look at the guy in front of him and you look at the guy behind him, they're doing completely different things than what he's doing.
Let's watch during Browner's rant.
Huh?
Go ahead, you rant. I'm going to watch.
Some people do racist things in plain sight because they think they can get away with saying, I'm joking. We have people in the United States Naval Academy throwing up white power signs at football games. We have all these issues going around our country. The last thing we need, especially at this point in time, is a guy doing Hitler signs at the end of a baseball game, whether you were joking about it or not. Because I'm from the school of, I hate racism, but I also know people think different things are funny. So this guy should be suspended. I don't think he should be fired because, again, I don't know if he's racist, so I don't want to go that far. But you've got to suspend this guy, period. End of story. He's got to be – the joke wasn't funny. And if the joke's not funny, the penalty has to be severe. You can't do that.
If your joke – let me explain this to you. If your joke intended to be funny is not funny, suspension.
10 games. 10 games. 10 games.
10 games in a 60?
Yeah, 10 games. Because it was funny. Like, come on, man, you can't be doing that. That was funny though, man. But don't do that again. No, man.
Yeah, I just think dude, when okay. I don't know how it's gonna sound.
All right, let's go, voice of reason.
I don't know how it's gonna sound. If this wasn't on camera, we never would have heard of it. There's not one single player on the A's organization that would have said a single thing about it. Hendricks, who told him to stop, wouldn't have come out and said, yo, our bench coach did this Heil Hitler sign with his hand. Totally unacceptable. I think we should do something about it. Would Hendricks have gone into the A's manager and said something? Likely not, because look he laughed it off. Christensen even did it again right after. That was a joke. So at what, I understand why it's a big deal, joke or not, because you can read nowadays, you're going to get read. Everything that you do is getting read, especially if it's caught on camera. So I understand the outrage. I understand, I think I saw Browner and Bernard and a bunch of people tweeting it, and I was tagged in some stuff just outraged about it. And I understand it. But without it being on camera, you never hear about it. So let's pretend it's not on camera. Does he deserve to be a suspension? Does the players have to rat him out? Where are we drawing a line? Is it only because it's on camera? Is this a Ray Rice situation all over again? Does this go from hey, don't do that, stupid, to hey, you're out for the rest of your career, you're never going to play football again?
Here is why, if it never got filmed, he still should be suspended. Okay. Because anti-Semitism cannot be allowed, period. End of story. Just like if he had been in the dugout and something happened and he had dropped an M-bomb in there, you got to go. Cannot have it. Because if you do it and no one records it and he gets away with it, you're now fostering a culture of racism. So you have to cut this out immediately where it happens. Again, I don't know if he's racist or not. So I'm not saying he should be fired, but he's got to be suspended. You can't just put out a press release where he says, oh, well, it was not my intention. We were planning to do this new way of high-fiving. Yeah. Everybody was doing the new way of high-fiving.
Everybody in 2020 knows if you're going to stick your hand out like that, you bend your elbow a little bit, bro.
You
that's common knowledge.
You got to bend that chicken wing a little bit. That thing was strong.
Scott,
strong out.
As the sole Jewish person here on this show, I think. Are you comfortable, just saying, hey, suspend this guy for 10 games? Or do you like the thing that Deshaun Jackson did where he said what he said, he doubled down, and then he is now trying to educate himself, and he's going to go visit Auschwitz with someone that survived in the camp. He's going to try and educate himself more. What are we looking for in these moments? Are we just looking to shit on somebody and move on? Or are we trying to educate on why that's not okay?
I think in Deshaun Jackson's case, I heard his words and I heard hatred for a group of people.
Right.
And when I see this bench coach, I see a dummy. I see somebody who is, you ever see a video of a coach after a game and there's a dance move that everybody knows and they're like, come on, coach, you got to do the dance move.
And what's so
great, right? What's so great about the dance from the coach is that it's so bad. You know what I mean?
Like when you dance.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, Browner.
Yes.
Watch this. Browner, like this. Watch this. You ready? Like this, Browner. Hands over head.
No.
Yeah. But you see, but Browner, if I were the coach, and you were the player, you'd be like, that's so cool. Coach can't dance. That's funny as hell. And then everybody would jump around me because we just won and you mess up my hair, and you're like, coach can't dance because he's trying to do the dance like this, but really the dance is like this. But coach don't have no soul. So coach is up here like this, but really the dance is down here like this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're right. Because whenever people were doing the running man challenge, there were some coaches doing that. I was like, you might want to knock that off. But when you're in the locker room and coach doing hey, go coach. But he's not doing it good. He's not doing it well. But I follow you.
So now, by the way, I love Alex's dog as part of the show, which I love. Alex is worried that the dog is going to interrupt it. I'm like, no, dude, it's part of the show now. Dog's part of the show. So Grande, what I'm trying to say is this: when you look at this coach, to me, that's how I see it. Hey, we all have this gesture. It's to put our arm up like this, but instead coach put his hand out like this and it kind of looks like this. And that's definitely because there's no mistaking. You give somebody the finger, that's the finger. You know,
Right.
You give somebody a thumbs up, they're like, hey, thumbs up. You give somebody a little, hang 10, bro. That's everybody knows these gestures. You give somebody across the wrist here, it's screw you, pal. People know gestures. When you see this guy holding his hand like that, if you could play it again, Alex, and you see the coach from the A's holding his hand out like that, in the sensitive ass world that we live in, we all see the actual gesture. If he were sticking out his middle finger, we'd all be saying the same thing. Guy sticking out his middle finger. He had the Hail Hitler signage with his hand. And when the guy walks over to him, and if you just watch it again, when the guy walks over to him and he like grabs his arm, he like, hey, no, like put your arm down, dude. He grabs his arm. And it's not like, oh, I'm saying something racist. It's like, I'm a dumbass. I got it wrong. I can't dance. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Oh, look at me. I'm a dumbass.
Can I push back on something you just said?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I don't think it's a matter of people being soft or the quote unquote snowflake term people like to use. I think it's people being more aware. I don't think it's sensitivity. I think it's respect, because for a long time, these things were said and done and no one said or did anything because they were acceptable. Mm-hmm. Now that we're more aware and how offensive that is to people, mm-hmm. these things are now offensive and now they need to be stopped. So
that's true. You got a good point. I hate to admit it. I usually don't like to agree with you, but
I know it's kind of your thing.
I know. Well, no, but it's just usually because we don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. But you got a good point there, I think.
Yeah, I think in this day and age we live in, I think we're more knowledge based. People are trying to be more fact based because the internet has allowed the world to become a very small place. And so, in the process of everyone trying to get along, we're all trying to learn that this is offensive, this is not offensive, this is okay, this is not okay. And so when people are seeing things, that's why so many people jumped on this, because regardless of color, people jumped on this. Was like, yo, knock that off. Like, what? You can't do that.
I don't know. I mean, can you write it off as stupidity?
Yes.
And inability to understand the gesture that he's displaying and the gesture that the team wanted. And I'm laughing because it's kind of funny because I'm an idiot, and I never even occurred to me, oh my God, that's a Hitler thing. I mean, just asking.
His apology makes me kind of think like, yeah, that was just stupid. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Because if you read his apology, it wasn't like some long written out statement where it was written by A's PR. He was like, I'll just read it straight to you because this is just the vibe. Like, I'm not making an excuse for him. He fucked up. It's stupid. It's dumb. And you shouldn't do that. But I think he knows that. I don't think it was anything more than that. He says, obviously I wasn't doing it intentionally. I just blacked out. My mind wasn't there. I spaced out. I'm sure it looks terrible. I did it, but it wasn't intentional. I don't know what else to say. No straight arm. You have to bend your arm, like Hendricks said. I apologize for everything. So, like, he knows he messed up.
Why do it twice? Why do it twice? If you blacked out and you had you did something stupid, that's why I said if it was just the first time, I could be, oh yeah, that was just dumb. He made a mistake. He was trying to be funny. He was trying to do the whole whatever. And it just didn't work out. He got caught up in the moment. He was in a baseball game. They won. He was probably thinking about something statistically or something from an advantage standpoint that he wanted to say to somebody. And he just spaced and his arm got stuck out. Okay, but don't come back and do it again. It was the again that bothered me.
I don't think he's gonna get suspended. I don't think anything's gonna happen to him.
I think people are gonna say, let the news cycle flush, and in 2 days, if we can withstand this.
You know what's gonna help him too?
What's that?
He works for the A's.
Right. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
True.
Nobody's
in Oakland knows what the A's are.
The Phillies fans making noise outside of the Phillies-Yankees game made more news than the A's pitcher, the A's coach did.
Mm-hmm.